Okay, folks, welcome back to Dominions 5. It is turn 17 of Accidental Ascension 2. The war with Satis continues. You can see up here we ran into the typical Satis problem. First of all, one of our mages was assassinated. And he was assassinated in the traditional Satisian style, at least before they research Alteration 4, which is this guy summoned skeletons at him until he died. Which happened pretty quickly, to be honest. Then I was attacked in that same province, Endless Plain. I had built some province defense, so my troops didn't automatically rout, but they were faced up against Poison Slingers and Falchineers. Falchineers are quite good units because they have 2 Falchion attacks that have high damage, and of course they're ambidextrous. Their protection is also quite high. So they have high encumbrance, but they're pretty solid. And backed up by the Poison Slingers, of course, they managed to do quite a bit of damage. Now, the poison also hurts the Falchineers, because despite their 7 poison resistance, poison damage does get through to them. But they were able to stop my troops. Now, fortunately, pretty much all of the Poison Slingers routed off the field. In fact, the Falchineers also routed, but they didn't, I think, manage to get off the field before my troops finished running. So, Satis won. In the process, they did lose quite a bit. Wrong battle. In the process, they did lose quite a bit. Most of their Falchineers and 3 of their Poison Slingers, plus the rest, routed. But my troops were also destroyed. So, I had 5 Knights of the Chalice in there. That's a pretty hefty investment. Poison Slingers are half the gold, and a tiny, tiny fraction of the resource cost, although recruitment points is very similar. So, the Poison Slingers, that was a win for him overall. Then, there was the battle in Forgotten Woods. We went in to attack the throne, where we had tried to seduce one of the sorceresses, and realized we couldn't. So we have our crossbows, we have our infantry, we have our knights. The knights launch a grand charge, wipe out a whole bunch of the barbarians, do slowly get worn down. There's mind burns dropping on them, all kinds of stuff. Lots of undead coming up, so the knights charge up there, clean out a whole bunch of zombies, and then push forward with the men-at-arms to finish off the pack. And the enemy sorceresses run in terror. So, cleaned that out pretty well. Lost 10 Knights of the Chalice, which is a little bit expensive, but I mean, you have to expect that kind of thing when you're running basically unblessed sacreds. And we got a fantastic random event this turn. The Bearclaw Talisman I don't care about, but 2,400 gold plus a ton of gems, mostly fire gems. In the Silver Wall, we lost some population, and in Marignan we got some growth and province income, which is fine. And we completed our castle. We're upgrading that castle to a citadel. Up here, we're not pushing into Satis' territory just yet. We have these 3 guys. They're all set to patrol while they wait for Urban to join them with more troops. This will, basically what I'm doing is I need to amass commanders. That's the easiest way to counter Satis' assassin spam. So this province is spamming indie commanders. This province is spamming indie commanders, and this province is spamming indie commanders, although only one every other turn. I would spam knight commanders in this province, except they would take like 4 turns to build, because I only have 18 resources. I guess it would be 3 turns, so not really worth it. But I've got 3 provinces pumping out 1 indie commander per turn, so they will quickly overwhelm the ranks of my commanders, such that the Empoisoners can't effectively stop me as I push towards Satis. In the meantime, we're continuing to research up towards Conjuration level 5. We are claiming the Throne of the Moon, which will give me a little bit of water and astral income, and not a whole lot else. I have growth already, but I mean, it'll give me a little bit of income, a little bit of dom spread. And I'm starting to build a palisade in the Forgotten Woods. Since I have this windfall of cash, I'm going to use it to set up another fort in an important place. So that is the whole turn 17. I know it was quick, but I'm tired today and a little bit under the weather, so we're making it quick. So I will see you all in turn 18. We will see how the war with Satis goes. In diplomacy, Phlegra and I have agreed to fight Satis together, so we'll see how that works out. I'm not sure how close Phlegra really is to them, because that's Satis down there. They've got a reasonable space between their capitals, although to be fair, so do I. I mean, they're only as far from capital as I am. So if Satis is pushed up this way and Phlegra is pushed down this way, they could be fighting around this area. Hopefully so, because I would love Satis to be distracted. So in any case, I will see you all in turn 18. Okay, folks, turn 18. Some cool random events this turn. First of all, I got an Earth Gnome for free. I got some air gems in Nirn, and then I got magic +1 and a rumor of witchcraft in Sitha. Said someone from the House of Just Fires should be sent to root it out. So I'm sending Clarun here, and I'm going to send him with some infantry and some knights. I don't know if he has to like patrol in order to. I've never played Middle Age Marignon much, so I've never really gotten this event before. But he is going to throw some spells and support his troops, as it were. And they're all just going to be on hold and attack closest. Hold and attack closest. That should definitely be enough to clear out the issue. Toro Satiric here is going to get all of these crossbows, and he's going to move north. My army is pushing back into Cetician lands. 4 commanders, 3 of them are mages with fire gems. The fire mages might be able to survive an assassination because they might be able to summon a lesser fire elemental. The question will be whether they do that before the skeletons that the enemy assassin summons reaches them or not. Hopefully, since they only have astral and fire, hopefully they will cast like maybe one buff, maybe twist fate on themselves. Mages love buffing themselves in assassinations, and then move on with their lives. I've talked with Uruk. This army, he says, is patrolling out a negative random event, a preacher who's lowering his dominion. So, hopefully he's not actually planning on invading him. On invading me, rather. I've got a Barbarian building a palisade down here. Guillaume is building a lab. Jeannie Adams, meanwhile, is moving with a whole bunch of more crossbows. Crossbows are, of course, my most powerful weapon, especially against Falchineers because they don't have shields. And so she is moving over to join the army. My commanders are being recruited. This guy is taking a little bit longer, but, you know, it happens. And of course, I'm upgrading to a citadel here in Glistening Dew Forest. That'll be done in 2 turns. After that, I'll have 3 command points. So I'll be able to pump out a mage plus a scout or an assassin or something every turn. I could also recruit more troubadours, but I'd rather just recruit standard scouts, to be honest. They are spies, so that could be nice. Having a couple spies wouldn't be terrible. I haven't even bothered to build a temple here, which is honestly probably okay. Like, I could recruit witch hunters, but how many witch hunters do you really need, am I right? I should get a temple at one of these exterior forts so that I can recruit my witch hunters somewhere else. But over here, I'm just going to be recruiting Jade Sorceresses, so there's no need for a temple, pretty much ever. Meanwhile, as I said, the war with Cetis, we're launching it again. We've got more troops gathering up. I've got a pretty good pile of troops here. This is about 60 units or so. Should be able to push in, retake this province, and then we'll see what else we can do. We were pushed out of Endless Plain last turn, of course. But overall, I think it's going to go pretty well, especially with the lesser fire elementals. And once I hit Conjuration 5, of course, we'll go up to full-size big boy fire elementals. And fire elementals are, of course, immune to poison and ethereal, and they have the fire shield and that. So spamming them is a pretty good strategy, especially when you have this many fire gems. I have enough fire gems to push pretty much all the way through Cetis if I really need to. On top of that, of course, Phlegra is attacking them from the north, which I've pretty much confirmed that there's some motion in that direction, at least, from what's been said on the Discord. So everything should be going fine. This province, well, we're just leaving this province because Phlegra is going to take it at some point, but I wish them much joy of it. Living Statue pop type is a beast to deal with, especially because they have that golem. So, that is about all for this turn. Another pretty quick one, and that's fine, to be honest. I would rather have quick turns, especially when I'm not feeling great. So, thanks for watching turn 18. I'll see you all in turn 19, where maybe something more exciting will happen. We'll start pushing in again, and we'll see how he reacts to the fire elementals. Take care. Okay, folks, turn 19. This should be another pretty quick one. We have captured Norfangs in a battle that was basically nothing. We can take a look at this. We just ran over a little bit of province defense. They didn't even trigger gem usage, I don't believe. It was pretty much just a hail of crossbow bolts, and then a little tiny bit of melee. A few little fireflies thrown, but nothing too terribly impressive, to be honest. So, that was all just fine. We lost 1 man-at-arms, wiping out some heavy infantry, poison slingers, and the province defense. And we got a fantastic hero, Thramul the Blessed Friar. So, he's garbage, he's weak, totally useless in combat, but he's stealthy, he preaches, He's automatically blessed, which is kind of cool. And he's a healer 5. 5. I think he's the most powerful healer in the game. On top of which, he reduces unrest and he spreads our dominion. That's amazing. This guy is going to be fantastic in the war against Satis specifically, because by virtue of being a stealthy healer who spreads dominion, he's going to push the Satisian disease dominion away while simultaneously healing the diseases that we get from being in Satis's dominion. So it's going to be great. Just absolutely fantastic. That is exactly what I needed to make this work. Now, I'm going to have to pull this army back because I'm worried about being assassinated if I stand around in Satis's areas. There are a number of Empoisoners up here along with Marsh Masters. So if he has hit Enchantment 5, which he may well have at this point, consider my research is still slow. 188 points at turn 19 is slow. And I've already hit Conjuration level 4 and I'm halfway to a level 5. So if he bum rushed Enchantment level 5, which he may well have, he's about to get Horde of Skeletons. If he gets Horde of Skeletons, this fortress will become very, very difficult to take. Now, if I get Conjuration 5 in the meantime, it will become a lot easier to take, because with Conjuration 5, I can take my my Witch Hunters, and I can throw hella Fire Elementals through those doors. So that is actually, I'm going to take my Witch Hunters right now, and I'm going to give them like 6 Fire Gems each, if not more. Let's make it 8 each. Prepping for this moment, because I need to be like right there, ready to get on the ball immediately as soon as that happens. I should hit Conjuration level 5 in 3 more turns, possibly 2 more turns if I'm really lucky, but probably not. Innocent is blind, but that won't stop him. So these 5 old gentlemen are going to begin moving towards the front line as well. They're actually going to go over here because I'm going to swing them up through this way. And then we're going to hit Endless Plain and then the Verdant Steppe. And we're going to gather other independent commanders as we go. That's part of the goal here. We're also going to start recruiting Barbarian Chiefs if we can. And these are not guys that I necessarily care about having troops. They're just there to suck up Empoisoner attacks, to be honest. Like, all I want is for them to be assassinated instead of anybody who's valuable. Because the goal is, so Satis's goal with this fort is to have this fort, which has 250 wall integrity. He forces me to spend time besieging the fort, right? Then, as I siege the fort down, the Empoisoners come out and attack me and begin to assassinate my commanders. As my commanders are assassinated, their troops drop, which means my siege strength drops, which means the siege takes longer, which gives him more turns to assassinate people. Satis and Pangaea specifically are the 2 nations that can really pull this off. Abyssea, Lady Abyssea can to an extent as well, although their assassins are not as good. But with Satis and with Pangaea, who have really good assassins, they can make their forts unstormable through this technique. If they have enough assassins and enough gems, they can just continually assassinate your commanders and you never get anywhere, and your troops are just sitting there starving and getting diseased and dying, and your army's getting weaker all the time. I mean, it's like a real siege. It's like a historical siege. It's awful. So, I want to avoid that. And the way to avoid that is to gather a huge army with a whole bunch of redundant commanders and slam them on top of this fortress and give him only 1 turn to do it, and the odds are he'll only kill random commanders that I don't care about. And if that happens, if I manage to pull that off, then I can just break the siege and storm the fort like normal. His Skele spam is going to be partially countered by my Fire Elementals. Once I have Conjuration 5, if I have, those 5, if I have 8 guys spamming Fire Elementals, and I can get out 16 or 24 Fire Elementals, they'll be able to chunk their way through a lot of Skele spam pretty effectively. Between the Fire Shield, the Etherealness, all that good stuff, I might be able to drop buffs on them if I'm quick. So I can try at least. It's worth a shot. So yeah. Could definitely be doable. I could also use some initiates to throw lesser Fire Elementals to back them up, but I'm probably not going to because I need my research in order to actually get those Fire Elementals researched in time. But I do have my Jade Sorceresses over here, pumping them out at the rate of 1 per turn. My Citadel will be done in 1 turn, and after that I'll be able to pump them out even more quickly. I could also over here, if I wanted to, get the Jade Maidens and the Amazons and all that, and Amazons aren't terrible units. They have shields, and lower protection than my troops, but still okay. So I might have a use for them at some point, but their stats just aren't exceptional. They're more defensive than most of my units, except the men-at-arms. And cheaper, certainly in terms of resources. Although resources are not actually my problem in this province. My problem in this province is recruitment points and gold. So I have to look out for that. But in any case, that is the turn. I'm pretty much just funneling everything north in a bid to land a knockout punch on Satis as quickly as I can. As quickly as I can, meaning in this case about 3 turns. So it's going to take at least that long to amass troops. We're going to swarm up to try and take the Verdant Steppe. That is, of course, right next to Satis itself. So once we've done that, we can move on to Satis. And Thramul, as I said, will be a real help because he will keep my important units, i.e. my commanders, from dying of diseases. And he will simultaneously spread my dominion to reduce the amount of danger that I'm in from that diseased dominion in the first place. Also, I found yet another mine in Strongdale. There's so many mines in Strongdale. Strongdale has 100 resources despite not having a fort on it. It's given Marignan. Marignan has over 400 resources. It's ridiculous. And 400 recruitment points. It's really silly. Like it's so ludicrous that I can actually I could actually be spamming knights from Marignan. And I'm kind of tempted, but at the same time having tons and tons of crossbows is also valuable. Especially against Satis with the poison attacks that they have. Knights of the Chalice are not particularly more resilient to poison than anybody else, neither are Royal Guard, so they get poisoned and they die just like anyone. Actually, my Bless does include some poison resistance, so Knights of the Chalice are resilient to poison, so that's actually a thought. Max out my Knights of the Chalice recruitment and then just get a couple men-at-arms. Yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and do that. Because Knights of the Chalice Knights of the Chalice actually do have poison resistance when they're blessed, so that's something. In any case, that is going to be the turn. So that's turn 19, and I will see you all in turn 20. Phlegra lost Duvan to a Barbarian attack. Their misfortune is really hammering them, and my luck is doing pretty good work for me this game. So, thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Alright, folks, it is turn 20, one of the key milestones in the early mid-game-ish kind of area. The Assassination Station we've reached Assassination Station. The train is pulling out. We have had 2 assassination attempts. They tried to kill 2 commanders here in Norfangs as my army was retreating. And what they actually, I keep clicking the wrong buttons. What they actually did was they got in 2 fights and they were kind of hilarious. Both of them. First of all, this Empoisoner is fighting this random barbarian chief, okay? He's just an asshole with a sword. He has terrible skills. He's bad at things. He's even bad at leadership because he's inspirational -1. The only thing he's got going for him is he goes berserk. So this Empoisoner, this poor sad sack Empoisoner, summons a skeleton as the screaming man with a sword rushes towards him. He gets hung up on the skeleton, starts trying to sword him, but he can't because he's not any better at attacking than the skeleton is at defending. They stand there fighting for a minute, while he starts casting Frighten, the Empoisoner that is, which is a spell that makes you run away. Remember, if you run away in assassinations, you die. But oh, what's this? He got hit by the skeleton, which gave him a limp, so now he's even worse at everything. But he's berserk. And the Empoisoner is still casting Frighten, which doesn't work on berserk people. So the Barbarian Chief just casually walks over there and puts a sword through his head. Meanwhile, a highly trained mage from the House of Just Fires, or Fiery Justice, depending on which words you read, is over here, casting Phoenix Power, and I'm like, yes, he's going to cast Phoenix Power. They've interrupted his spell casting by shooting him with a crossbow bolt, so I've got time. I'm going to put out a Fire Elemental before that skeleton reaches me. No, okay, I'm going to cast Twist Fate. Alright, well, that's 1 buff. Maybe I'll get a Fire Elemental now? Nah, I'm going to cast Stellar Decree. I'm just going to cast the Area of Effect Holy Specialty Anti-Undead spell on this one skeleton, as opposed to summoning a Fire Elemental, which would win this battle instantly, because 1 Fire Elemental could burn through these skeletons real easy. No, I'm in melee now. I guess I better keep trying to cast Stellar Decree. I'm very slowly and then get stabbed, and yeah. I finished my Citadel, though. So we're now recruiting a Jade Sorceress and a half per turn. We've gotten a couple of funny randoms. We got an Earth random, and we got a death random, both of which are fantastic, because this earth random can now go around searching for earth sites. And once I get her if I want to, I can give her a nature booster, and then she can summon Chithoronic Lions, which would be pretty neat. But right now, she's just going to walk around searching for earth sites. I found my first death site. I found a battlefield, so now I have a death income, which is, I actually have a death income of 2. Where's my other one coming from? I don't know where my other death income is coming from. Moonlit halls? No. Battlefield, Farm of Plenty, Painted Cave. Ah, Dying Forest. That's right. It gives me death. Alright, cool. So I have some death income. I've got a little tiny bit of nature income. Obviously, I've got fire income. I'm moving a whole bunch of dudes up here to assemble into one giant army. We will have a lot of units here, and I'm going to have to kind of reshuffle them around so that they are useful. And then this army will advance on the Verdant Steppe. I'm pretty sure he's got Horde of Skeletons at this point, so that's going to be a huge pain in the neck, but I should have fire elementals by the time I get there. 2 more turns, and at that point I will be able to spam fire elementals at him and cause some chaos. So that'll be good. This little army is moving up here into Endless Plain to be threatening, and it'll be good. It's going to be real good. Gunteric, meanwhile, is just standing here with all these crossbows and this one dude like,
huh? What am I supposed to do about it? Come on, try to assassinate me again, man. I'll kill you.
He's going to run away because that's what he needs to do. I've got more commanders coming out. All these knights I'm going to give to Volden. Volden's going to go up here. And I remembered, because I'm an idiot, last turn I had Clarun down here to try and resolve this event. And then I forgot that I was doing that, and so I moved him back to the capital. So he's going back down to resolve this event. And these 2 commanders are both moving north. And this commander is moving in. So we have a lot of indie commanders starting to filter in, and that should help give us that that lovely buffer zone. Poor Flegre is not doing well, so we'll see how that goes. I've been talking to Uruk. Hopefully I can get Uruk to come in against Satis as well. That would be nice. If Uruk could like snatch this province and put some pressure on him, or maybe go up north here and attack him up in this area, that would be very nice. I could use more scouts, but I don't have the time and inclination to recruit more at the moment. I'm busy. This palisade is under construction. We are going to start moving Gerons over in that way to make it a citadel. And I think that'll be it. Actually, I'm not going to make that a citadel probably, because I mean a citadel has more wall integrity, but that's about the only difference. And more wall integrity honestly isn't all that relevant usually. Probably going to come down here to where we have the high income and a ton of resources and make this a citadel, because I could recruit. Why am I not recruiting Knights of the Chalice here? Knights of the Chalice are amazing. Recruit more Knights of the Chalice. Even with a crappy bless like I have, Knights of the Chalice are pretty solid. So we'll do that, and that will be the plan. May have to hold off on the invasion until I get another burst of indie commanders up here. But, I mean, the goal is just to, you know, have enough indie commanders to overwhelm the Empoisoners. So, that is the plan, and I will see you all in turn 21. Take care. Alright, turn 21. Looking at messages, it happened again. The assassination thing happened again. Barbarian chiefs are apparently amazing at fighting assassins. Look at this. This guy is buffing himself up. He drops Eagle Eyes, and all of a sudden he's in melee with an angry man with a greatsword, and he gets shanked. Barbarian chiefs 2, Sadician and Poisoners 0 against Barbarian chiefs. They killed a mage, so that's fine. In Endless Plain, there was a battle, and it was very bad news. I mean, expected bad news, but... so they've got this line of dudes back here. They have Aton Shar, who is a national hero, with water, death, and nature magic, which is an awful combination. And they have Marshmasters, which have water, nature, and death, which is also an awful combination, because it enables them to cast not only Horde of Skeletons, but also Foul Vapors. So, Foul Vapors is just everything on the battlefield without a lot of poison resistance eventually dies. It's a terrible spell. I hate it. Personally, I find it kind of unbalanced, but in any case. So, we got some lesser fire elementals, and they did alright. They did some damage. They set some people on fire. For being a level 1 spell, that's fine. And then everyone was fucking killed by poison. So my mages ran off the field. Almost all of my units died. Some of the enemy units also died of poison at the end of the whole thing, but really doesn't change the fact. There are 6 mages back here crapped out an alarming number of skeletons, which is what happens with Horde of Skeletons. And, of course, skeletons are immune to poison. So, I lost pretty much the army. The enemy lost negligible, half the numbers, and not nearly as expensive units. Like, my 6 Knights of the Chalice alone, I think cost almost as much as everything they lost. Plus the crossbows, the men-at-arms, light infantry, etc. My witch hunters survived, which is nice. And they all retreated to God's Tomb Mountains. So, given that he has Foul Vapors active, I actually can't fight him. I especially cannot fight him in Doomstack combat. I can't actually use this army to attack. Now, I can potentially raid by using Witch Hunters to storm in and cast Fire Elementals of Province Defense. That's possible. Risky, but possible. But in terms of actual battles, I will lose any actual battle, because with the Horde of Skeletons Foul Vapors combo, all he has to do is put up Foul Vapors and then summon skeletons until I die. And he doesn't even have to kill me, I'll just die on my own. And then even if he loses the battle, most of my units will die afterwards anyway. So overall, it sucks. Now, having these Jade Sorceresses is pretty much the only thing that's going to help me here. As soon as I get a Nature 2, I can use her to start forward. Well, let me back up. I need Nature Gems to do any of this, but having Nature is what's going to save me, because there's a spell called Poison Ward. Now, it requires Nature 2 to cast. It is, where's the spell? It's an enchantment. Level 4 Poison Ward, and it also costs a Nature Gem. And it's an AoE 15, Poison Resistance 10. That basically saves you from Foul Vapors. Unfortunately, of course, it costs a gem to cast, and you have to be Nature 2. So Nature 1s can't possibly cast it. And, yeah. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get a Nature 2 randomly, which is about a 7% chance, 6.25% chance per mage I recruit. Then, I have to have her start forging Thistle Maces to give to other mages, and then they can spend gems to cast Poison Ward. It's a terrible, expensive, crappy counter, but it's the only counter I have available. The only other option, rely almost entirely on Sacred units, because my blessing, fortuitously includes poison resistance. So that would be Knights of the Chalice and nothing. Just Knights of the Chalice and Witch Hunters, because Witch Hunters can bless themselves. So if I did that, then there might be something. It might be something I could do. At least it will reduce the efficiency of the combo. But it means that I have to just resign myself to the fact that in any battle, all of my mages are going to die. All of my infantry are going to die. I mean, my mages are going to die eventually as well, but you know what I mean. I'm just setting them on hold and fire nothing so they target randomly. Hopefully they will hit the mages. You all are just going to be on attack rear. Move them to them. Down here. Attack rear is definitely one of the ways you can counteract tactics like this, because it you have the possibility of sneaking around the enemy and going straight for the mages, and the mages are what have to die. So I've got many crossbows, many crossbows, a few infantry, a few cavalry. Put them all in that infantry group. Commander morale bonus +1? What? No, he's a barbarian lord, not a barbarian chief, so he's better. Cool. Excellent. And you guys are going to be on attack. You're actually going to be on hold and attack rear because you need to be blessed. You'll be right there. I guess I'll set you on hold and attack rear too. Hold and attack rear. And innocent. So now you guys, we need you to, first of all, one of you has to blessing, then Phoenix power, and then it's summoning fire elementals. Right now it's lesser, but we will upgrade that to full-size fire elementals. And we're going to have you all bless. You all need to bless, because if nothing else, you got to bless yourselves. You got to be blessed. And so 2 of you should stand down here by the cavalry. Like that. It's crossbows. It's a huge fucking crossbow party. Pardon my French. I'm just a little bit irritated. Fighting middle-aged statists is such a pain in the neck. I hate it and want it to die. So, but I have options. There's possibilities. I'll give these guys to him, actually, because then they won't take a penalty. Just you, dude. You alone. You are the one. The man of the hour. We need more infantry to guard that kind of army, but to be honest, like I said, I don't have it. I've got some infantry coming. And a whole bunch more Knights of the Chalice. And like I said, the Knights of the Chalice are pretty much going to be the only possible survivors out of this whole thing. So this army is just going to sit here for right now, because Phlegra is attacking Satis, and like I said, I think I convinced Uruk to attack Satis as well. So they should be able to accomplish something. And next turn, I will have full-size fire elementals. After that, we're going down enchantment. We need to hit enchantment level 4. That will give us foul vapors, and it will also give us flaming arrows, which is a significant buff to our crossbows, which we can cast very easily. We're upgrading this palisade further to a fortress. We've claimed the Throne of the Moon here. And down here, we are recruiting just an initiate per turn at this point, and we're waiting on gold to upgrade this to a castle and then a citadel. And that is the turn. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in turn 22.